Well, welcome back to this special program looking at today's tub-thumping news conference by the US President-elect Donald Trump. The American people are going to have to get used to a new style of president with a new way of getting his message across. Earlier this week, President Obama said farewell in the same typical manner which the American people have seen for the past 8 years.
I'm asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours. I'm asking you to hold fast to that faith written into our founding documents, that idea whispered by slaves and abolitionists, that spirit sung by immigrants and homesteaders and those who marched for justice.
And compare that to President-elect Trump summing up his mission and America's relationship with Russia.
President Putin and Russia put out a statement today that this fake news was indeed fake news. They said it totally never happened. Now, somebody would say, oh, of course he's going to say that. I respected the fact that he said that. And I'll be honest, I think if he did have something, they would have released it. They would have been glad to release it. I think, frankly, had they broken into the Republican National Committee, I think they would have released it. If Putin likes Donald Trump, I consider that an asset, not a liability. Because we have a horrible relationship with Russia. Russia can help us fight ISIS, which, by the way, is number one tricky. I mean, if you look, this administration created ISIS by leaving at the wrong time. The void was created, ISIS was formed. If Putin likes Donald Trump, guess what, folks? That's called an asset, not a liability. Now, I don't know that I'm going to get along with Vladimir Putin. I hope I do, but there's a good chance I won't. And if I don't, do you honestly believe that Hillary would be tougher on Putin than me? Does anybody in this room really believe that? Give me a break.
Well, joining us now is Anneke E, a speechwriter for George W. Bush when he was US President. Welcome to you. So gone, some might say, is the fluent, laid-back, if predictable, steady, dependable presence of Barack Obama, with a man who is perhaps none of the above and shoots from the hip. Is this the sort of news conference we're going to have to get used to?
I think it is. Donald Trump has made it clear, President-elect Trump has made it clear that he is not going to back down. And as we saw in the press conference today, he is as combative. He pushes back on reporters and he says things the way he sees it, even if it doesn't sound presidential the way we've grown accustomed to in the past 8 years.
So how do you tame him as a speechwriter? Because that's surely what you're trying to do, isn't it? Control the news, control the message as the person who pens the president's words.
Well, it's the press shop's job to think about how something sounds and what the news cycle should look like. The speechwriter's job is really to team up with the president, channel his voice, understand where his principles are, what he wants to say, and then write it in a way that is his voice, he can own it, but maybe wouldn't be what it sounds like shooting from the hip.
In a sense, for him, was it a success today? We heard the accusations against CNN that they are fake news, that the organization is rubbish, the seed of doubt about the intelligence services leaking this dossier. Is that what he'd hoped to achieve from today? And in that respect, is it a success for him?
I thought he came across very strong today. He also pushed back against BuzzFeed, which is another U.S. outlet here, that they published an anonymous document that multiple news organizations in the fall were not able to verify the claims of. And I myself have looked at the document, and BuzzFeed, the president of the organization, said we weren't able to verify these things, but based on the fact that CNN reported on the existence of this document, we're putting it out there so people can decide for themselves. So amidst a cycle where fake news is becoming increasingly problematic, that was something that President-elect Trump raised.
But if you are not a Donald Trump supporter, you might think the end result of today is that our impression of him is a paranoid, accusatory, unpredictable germaphobe who would sack his own sons if they mess up the business while he plays at this presidency lark. He's the leader of the Western world. Is he really fit for the task ahead?
I think the thing that is important to remember is that he is a businessman. He's not a politician. So I believe that his speechwriters will have an interesting task before them of learning how to team up with him as he grows into a role where you are reading from a script, where you think about what is it I ultimately want to communicate. I think the point about his sons was geared from his viewpoint to say, I am not going to put up with conflicts of interest, to the point that if my sons start running the business poorly while I'm president, I won't talk to them about it until I'm not president anymore. Now, that may have come across as harsh towards his sons, depending on who was listening, but that was his ultimate goal.
Anneke Green, speechwriter there for George Bush. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's talk more.